My brother stole and broke my car, and my parents stood up for him, so I filed a complaint. When I was a kid, I used to believe that if you worked hard, you'd be rewarded. Simple cause and effect. You grind, you save, you sacrifice, life meets you halfway. I clung to that belief like a lifeline through college, through 2 jobs and a mountain of rent, through every greasy takeout meal and passed-up vacation. And it finally paid off. After years of driving a rusted Civic with no AC and a check engine light that stayed on like a permanent mood indicator, I walked into that dealership with a down payment that had taken me 6 years to piece together. Every missed night out, every budget spreadsheet, every rejection email I didn't let break me, it all led to that moment. I signed the papers. They handed me the keys. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt pride. Not relief. Not stress. Not just, I'm getting by. Real, bone-deep pride. It wasn't a luxury car. Nothing exotic. Just a sharp, brand-new, midnight blue hatchback that purred when it started and had leather seats that still smelled like ambition. It was mine. Not a gift. Not a co-signed loan. Not a second-hand compromise. Mine. I should have known it wouldn't last. My younger brother, Tyler, has never earned anything. Not really. He's the kind of guy who has coasted on charm and parental enablement his entire life. The golden child. The boys will be boys excuse wrapped in a hoodie and half a smirk. Tyler is the kind of sibling who borrows your stuff without asking, then gets annoyed when you want it back. He forgets to pay people back. He shows up to family dinners late and somehow still gets applauded for being so funny. He's also the kind of person who sees your happiness as a threat to his ego. So when I pulled into my parents' driveway that Saturday afternoon, hoping to show off the car I'd been working toward for over half a decade, I found Tyler already there, leaning against the garage like he owned the place, thumbs flying across his phone screen. I parked, cut the engine, stepped out, and, like clockwork, he didn't even lift his eyes. "New whip?" he asked, finally glancing up, pushing off the garage wall like the car was his and I was the valet. "Yeah," I said. I kept my voice neutral, but inside, my pulse was pounding. I wanted this moment to be mine. Tyler walked over, his mouth curled into that infuriating half-smile he always wore when he was about to cross a line. "What's the mileage?" he asked, peering in through the window. 83, I said. "Nice," he whistled. "Let me take it around the block." I didn't hesitate. "No." His head snapped toward me, incredulous. "Bro, seriously?" "I just got it, Ty," I said firmly. "You're not driving it." He scoffed. Rolled his eyes. "God, you're so uptight. It's just a car." "No," I repeated. "It's my car. I worked for this. I'm not handing you the keys just because you asked." That smirk didn't leave his face. Instead, he shrugged, stuffed his hands in his hoodie pocket, and backed off. But as he turned away, I caught something in his eyes, some flicker of mischief, of entitlement. A plan. Later that night, I stopped by our parents' house again, just dropping off a package. I was there 10 minutes. I left my keys on the hall table like an idiot. Went upstairs to say hi to Mom, came back down. And the keys were gone. So was my car. For a few seconds, my brain just froze. My feet didn't move. My fingers twitched like I was trying to pause the moment and rewind it. Then I stormed outside, chest tight, hands clenched, and screamed his name. "Tyler." No answer. Just the faintest screech of tires in the distance. I called him. Straight to voicemail. Again. And again. I was pacing the porch when my phone rang 2 hours later. Not his number, an unknown one. "Is this Callum Wright?" "Yes. This is Officer Dumas with the Westfield Police Department. I'm calling regarding a vehicle registered under your name." My stomach dropped. "There's been an incident. The driver is okay, but your car, it sustained significant damage." My voice was flat. "Who was driving?" "A young man who identified himself as Tyler Wright. I don't remember the drive to the scene. 1 minute I was frozen on the porch, the next I was standing behind a row of flashing lights, staring at what used to be my car. Hood bent like origami. Headlight shattered. Bumper hanging by a thread. And Tyler, smirking. Arms crossed, phone in hand like this was a minor inconvenience, not the total destruction of the one thing I owned that made me feel like I was finally making it. I stepped out of my old beater. Slammed the door. He turned toward me like I was the overreacting one. Shrugged. It sucks, yeah. But, like, relax. Mom and Dad said you'll forgive me. So. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't even regret. It was a guarantee that, once again, they'd cover for him. That I'd be expected to let it go. I felt it in my chest, something cold and sharp breaking loose. No. Not this time. I didn't sleep that night. I tried. But my brain wouldn't stop spinning. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the twisted frame of my car. Heard Tyler's voice in my head, Mom and Dad said you'll forgive me. Like it was already decided. Like I didn't get a say. I paced my apartment for hours, hands twitching, heart thudding in slow, heavy beats. I thought about how long I had worked for that car. About all the things I had given up to afford it. And how Tyler had tossed all of that aside, without permission, without guilt, without consequence. By morning, I was running on caffeine and spite. My phone was blowing up. 3 missed calls from Mom. 2 from Dad. And 1 message from Tyler. Yo, can we just drop this? It's not the end of the world. Chill out. No apology. No remorse. Just the usual, minimize, deflect, move on. But not this time. I showed up at my parents' house that afternoon. Didn't knock. Didn't text. Just walked in. They were already seated in the kitchen. The room smelled like warm bread and manipulation. My mom was nursing a mug of tea like it was some emotional support relic. Dad looked like he'd been practicing his concerned face in the mirror. And Tyler? Slouched at the table. Scrolling through his phone. Chewing gum. Wearing that lazy, smug look he always pulled when he knew the outcome was already rigged in his favor. I didn't say anything at first. Just stood in the doorway. Callum, Mom said gently, setting her mug down like she was preparing to talk to a fragile patient. We need to talk. I didn't move. Dad motioned to the chair across from them. Come sit. Let's clear the air. The air was never the problem. It was the fire underneath it. I sat down slowly. Quiet. Waiting. Mom folded her hands on the table, leaned in just enough to make it seem sincere. Honey, she began, this tension isn't healthy. We understand you're upset, but, this anger? It's not good for you. Or any of us. I stared at her. Blinking slowly. My anger was the issue? Not the theft. Not the wrecked car. Just the fact that I was upset about it. Tyler didn't look up from his phone. He just smirked. She's right, man. It's just a car. The words lit a fuse in my chest. But I kept my voice calm. I'd practiced this. It's not just a car. It was mine. Paid in full. Earned. Saved for. You don't get to wreck something I worked for and act like it's a scratched iPod. Mom sighed and exchanged a glance with Dad. That silent, well-worn language of let's stay united against the emotional one. Dad leaned forward, his voice soft. Callum, no one's saying it wasn't wrong. But Tyler didn't mean to crash it. It was an accident. He stole it. Dad flinched slightly. That's a bit harsh. I looked at Tyler. Finally. Square in the face. I told you no. You took my keys. You drove off. That's not borrowing. That's stealing. Tyler rolled his eyes and let out a sarcastic snort. God, you're dramatic. I made a mistake. Chill. I didn't, commit armed robbery. Actually, I said, calmly, taking a vehicle without consent is a crime. But don't worry. I'm not pressing charges. That got his attention. His phone lowered by a few inches. Dad reached across the table, placing a hand on mine like that gesture would magically de-escalate things. You're his brother, he said. Family forgives. That's what we do. I laughed. Quiet and humorless. Forgiveness doesn't mean erasing accountability. Mom rubbed her temples, her patience thinning. Callum, we're just asking you not to take this so far. What's done is done. We can help cover the cost. Let's move forward. I tilted my head. So you'll pay for the damages? She hesitated. Well, not all of it. But we can contribute. Maybe we can all. No, I cut her off. I'm not absorbing this. I'm not covering it. I'm not pretending this didn't happen. The table fell silent. And then, Tyler laughed. A dry, mocking chuckle. Dude, you're acting like I crashed your house and ran over your dreams. It's a car. You'll get another one. I reached into my jacket. Pulled out a manila envelope. Thick. Neat. Set it down in front of him like a gift-wrapped reckoning. He stared at it. What is this? Some emo poem about betrayal? Read it. His smugness faltered as he tore the envelope open. He unfolded the documents and began reading, lips moving slightly. His expression changed fast. From confusion. To disbelief. To full-on panic. His grip tightened around the paper. What the hell is this? Dad leaned in, reading over his shoulder. His brow furrowed, eyes scanning the insurance paperwork. This says the claim liability has been transferred to Tyler. I nodded. Correct. I filed it as unauthorized use. Because I never gave him permission. The insurer agrees. They're holding him responsible. Mom's mouth fell open. Callum, this will ruin his credit. He'll be paying this off for years. Good, I said. Tyler shot to his feet, knocking his chair backward, the panic written all over his face now. You can't do this. I already did. His voice cracked, suddenly unsure. You really hate me that much? No. I just finally love myself enough not to let you screw me over anymore. Dad was flipping through the documents now, reading line after line, his hand shaking slightly. This is $37,000. How's he supposed to pay this? Same way I saved for the car, I said, pushing back my chair. Figure it out. I stood. Walked to the door. And as I opened it, I looked back at them, Tyler stunned, Mom seething, Dad trying to do math on a lifetime of excuses. This time, I said quietly, you're not getting to fix it for him. This time, he gets to clean up his own mess. And I left. The silence was deafening. After that night at my parents' house, I didn't hear from Tyler. Not a single text. No calls. No apology. Honestly? I wasn't surprised. This was his pattern. When things went sideways, he'd disappear just long enough for someone else to pick up the mess. He'd vanish while Mom cried and Dad rationalized and I caved. That's how it always went. But this time? No one caved. And the pressure was mounting. A few days after the insurance claim was finalized, I started getting little updates, mostly from mutual friends or my parents' not-so-subtle guilt-trip texts. Tyler was having a hard time. Tyler was really stressed. Tyler was suffering enough already. Meanwhile, I was still taking the bus to work while the wrecked shell of my car sat in an impound lot, waiting to be towed to a salvage yard. I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. He had stolen my car. Destroyed it. Laughed in my face. Then expected me to forgive him because, family. No. He didn't get to play the victim now. The best part? He hadn't told his employer. Tyler worked for a finance startup, one of those bro-culture offices where appearance was everything and damage control was a full-time job. He'd recently landed a promotion he wouldn't shut up about, and his image was half of what got him there. I knew they ran annual checks on employee credit standing and liability risk. I also knew his financial reputation just took a 40 grand hit. So when the claim started moving through processing and his name officially landed on the report, there wasn't a damn thing he could do to stop the fallout. Then it happened. A Thursday night. Late. Nearly 10:30 p.m. I was brushing my teeth when someone started pounding on my door. Not knocking, pounding. It was him. I didn't even have to look through the peephole. That entitled, rhythmic knock was burned into my memory. I waited. Counted to 20. Let him stew. Then slowly opened the door. There he was. Unshaven. Hoodie on inside out. Dark bags under his eyes. Not even pretending to be calm. You need to fix this, he snapped. No hello. No preamble. Just rage. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, brushing my teeth with complete indifference. Hi, Tyler. You look like hell. I'm serious, he growled. They froze my bonus. Said my financials raised a red flag. You just cost me my promotion. Sounds like the system works, I said, grabbing a towel to dry my hands. His fists clenched. You think this is funny? You think ruining my life over some stupid car makes you the good guy? I laughed once. Sharp. Bitter. I'm not the good guy, Ty. I'm the quiet guy you thought you could walk all over forever. This is what happens when you push someone too far. You don't understand what you've done, he snapped. They're watching me now. They said if this tanks my credit, I'm off high clearance accounts. That's half my job. I tilted my head. So, don't tank your credit, then? His face flushed a dark red. I can't pay for this, Callum. I don't have 40 grand lying around. Neither did I said flatly. That's why I worked for 6 years to afford that car. You destroyed it in one night. He looked down. Just for a second. That's when I saw it, the crack. The split between his arrogance and his fear. For the first time since we were kids, Tyler looked genuinely lost. Not performatively sad. Scared. His voice dropped. Please, man. You proved your point. I messed up. I get it. Just, help me out. I'll pay you back in time, I swear. Just take the claim back. I stared at him. Long enough that he shifted uncomfortably. Then I said the most honest thing I'd said in years. I don't trust you. He blinked. That broke him more than yelling ever could have. You don't mean that. I didn't answer. Just let the silence confirm it. His desperation started to curdle into anger again. He turned, pacing on my porch, running his hands through his hair. This is gonna follow me for years. Good. He wheeled back to face me. You want to see me suffer? Congratulations. You win. My credit's shot. My job's at risk. You happy now? No, I said, stepping back inside. But I'm finally free. And I shut the door in his face. I stood there for a long time. Not angry. Not even smug. Just, still. I didn't hear him leave. Maybe he stayed there a while, hoping I'd open the door again. Maybe he waited for some grand emotional climax that never came. But I had nothing left to give him. And when I checked my phone the next morning, I saw the ripple effects had already started. A screenshot from a friend, an internal email from Tyler's company. Due to a pending personal liability issue, a recent promotion offer is being re-evaluated. Another message. Bro. Tyler's freaking out. He's trying to get mom and dad to sell some retirement stock to help cover it. I didn't respond. Just turned off my phone, leaned back, and finally breathed. It felt like peace. Not revenge. Not victory. Just peace. For the first time in my life, I wasn't being told to get over it. I wasn't being guilted into being the bigger person. And it felt damn good. My parents invited me to dinner the following Sunday. The message was worded like an olive branch. Let's all sit down and talk, calmly. But I knew what it really was. An intervention. Tyler had clearly gone crying to them again. Probably played the victim. Told them I was punishing him and that he'd made one mistake. I could practically hear my mom's voice already. We're a family, Callum. This isn't who we are. I considered not going. But something inside me said, finish it. So I showed up. The house was dressed for reconciliation. Candles flickering on the table. Steamed vegetables. Roasted chicken. Like forgiveness could be served between mashed potatoes and polite conversation. Mom was already seated, wearing her nicest, I'm the peacemaker, sweater. Dad hovered near the sink, drying a plate that didn't need drying. Tyler sat across the table, fidgeting with a spoon. His smirk was gone. His posture was stiff. His phone, usually glued to his hand, lay screen down next to his plate. No one spoke as I walked in. I pulled out a chair and sat slowly. Kept my hands in my lap, one of them resting against a thick envelope I'd brought with me. Just in case. Mom was the first to break the silence. "Callum," she said, voice gentle. "Practiced. I'm glad you came." Dad nodded. "It's important we don't let this divide us. Tyler made a mistake. We all agree on that." Tyler said nothing. "But," Mom continued, "this whole insurance thing, it's too much. It's not healthy to hold on to this much anger." I didn't answer. Just let the quiet stretch out a bit longer. Dad leaned forward, hands clasped like he was delivering a sermon. "We're not asking you to forget. Just to forgive. Tyler's already dealing with the consequences. His job is on the line. His credit's in trouble. Don't you think that's enough?" I tilted my head. "So now you believe in consequences?" Mom frowned. "That's not what You're asking me to back down because for once, something actually stuck to him. For once, he has to deal with the fallout instead of me." Tyler finally looked up, his voice tight. "It's not that simple, man. You don't get it." "Oh, I get it," I said. "You gambled on me staying silent, and you lost." He scoffed. "It was a car. You're acting like I burned down your house. It was my car. You stole it. You crashed it. And then you laughed about it like it was a joke." Dad's tone grew sharp. "We're trying to move on. You can't keep holding this over his head forever." I reached into my lap and slowly placed the envelope on the table. "What's this?" Mom asked. "Proof." I slid it across to Tyler. "The finalized claim. What he owes. The liability's in his name now. He can read the rest." He didn't reach for it. Just stared at the envelope like it was a ticking bomb. Mom's voice turned cold. "You really want to drag this out in front of us?" "You dragged me here," I said. "I'm just showing up with receipts." Tyler finally grabbed the envelope, pulled out the pages, scanned them. His face paled again, just like it had the first time. "You're really doing this," he muttered. "Even now." I didn't flinch. "Especially now." That's when the gloves came off. He slammed the papers on the table. "You want to ruin my life? Fine. You win. I've got collectors calling me. My job's on the fence. I'm broke. You happy? You still think this is about winning?" I asked. "This isn't revenge, Tyler. This is called a not cleaning up your mess for once." He looked at our parents, waiting for them to step in. Dad looked, uncertain. Mom's expression had hardened. She was realizing I wasn't bluffing. "This will destroy him," she said. "How is that justice?" I pushed my chair back. "You know what's crazy?" I said. "You all act like this punishment came out of nowhere. But the only reason it feels unfair is because Tyler has never been punished for anything before. So the first time he gets real consequences, it feels extreme." Tyler stood too now, face flushed with frustration. "You don't get it, man. I made a mistake, okay?" "No," I snapped. "You made a choice. And now you get to deal with it." He was shaking with fury now. "This is gonna follow me forever." "Good. Maybe it'll teach you something." I turned to leave. Dad stood. "Callum, don't do this. This isn't who you are." I paused at the doorway. Looked back one last time. "It's exactly who I am. You just never met this version of me, because I was too busy being the one who always kept the peace." And then I walked out. A few days passed. Then I got the final call. From a friend of Tyler's. He'd been demoted at work. Not fired, but pulled off anything involving high-risk accounts. Word had gotten around. The financial screw-up was now part of his brand. And Tyler? He finally stopped pretending. Stopped smirking. Stopped posting cryptic messages about betrayal on social media. He disappeared. No calls. No texts. Not even a half-baked apology. And that silence? That was the closure I never thought I'd get. Do I regret it? Not for a second. Sometimes, standing up for yourself means letting someone else fall. I didn't break Tyler. I just stopped being his cushion. Thank you for watching the video. Like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.